Hello and welcome to the IGN UK podcast. This week I'm joined by Dale Driver.
Hello.
And Alysia Judge.
Hello.
Speaking of judges, last night was the Game Awards.
Nice.
Yes,
nice.
I enjoyed that. That was really well done.
pretty slick.
That was really slick.
All right. Don't point it out. The whole...
You pointed it out.
Pointed it out, and I'm running
You were
with
fishing
it.
for compliments for
Because I
that.
made it up on the spot. It literally happened. It pinged into
There
my
was
head
this
like a
kind of
moment
float,
inspiration.
this light in your eye as
I
you
know.
realised the segue just
Gets in there.
came.
Gets in there.
A twinkle.
It would have been cooler if you just let it ride, though. You just carried on.
Is that a play on words with driver?
Not in any way, shape, or form.
Anyway, it was the Game Awards yesterday.
Yes.
Which happened in LA. For some reason, I didn't think they were till Sunday. I don't know. They always used to be on Sunday.
You're
when there
getting
were
it mixed
Spike
up
Awards.
with PSX and stuff as
I
well.
never
There's
get
so...
my events mixed up.
You know, just
No, I don't
Alex
do that.
Simmons.
Did you guys catch up on any of the stuff? We'll talk about the big trailers that
Yeah.
came out, but let's talk about the winners. Did you see the list of...
I just read the list, and as for like the trailers, I just watched them all on the train this morning. So
Fair enough.
I mean,
that's my knowledge.
yeah, like there was. I think it's a really interesting indicator of some of the games that we're going to see on the Game of the Year lists and stuff. It's kind of that bellwether for it. I thought it was really interesting that Game of the Year was Overwatch. I feel like that's probably going to like top pretty much.
I was going to say, it's not interesting, it's correct.
It's
isn't
correct.
it?
Well, because I've been thinking a lot about this. Obviously, listeners of this podcast will know that we play a lot of Overwatch.
Do we?
It's never came up before.
No.
But I wonder if we live in a little bubble, and that, you know, we're fortunate in that we get to play together as a team. I think if I was going into that game as a lone wolf every night, I'd probably get bored and would have moved on to something
Oh,
else.
absolutely.
Potentially, but
So I wonder if it's a kind of, it's the sort of the games industry's darling, and obviously it's
Yeah.
proved popular, but it's perhaps not as significant as we think.
maybe we do
I know
live in
that
the games industry
You're going
bubble.
to spit in my face after we've listened to this podcast for dissing Overwatch. If Joe was here, he'd literally be punching me.
No, I think, yeah, it's hard to see out of that bubble sometimes, especially in your Twitter sphere, so to speak, where you've got all of
Exactly.
the
It's like an
journalists
echo
and stuff,
chamber.
and
Yes.
everybody's talking about that. And yeah, when I try and think of a casual game, I think of my brother who only plays Uncharted and Tomb Raider, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And he's never even heard of Overwatch. So
Yeah.
yeah, there is an element of that. But I suppose at the end of the day, you have to make your opinion based on all the information that you have, and to me, that is the game that has had the most traction all year. It's kept the most interest. People still hot with it, still play it to this day.
And I think as well, what I really like about Overwatch and why I'm glad it's being celebrated is because I love how it's brought something new to the multiplayer kind of MOBA genre in terms of making, I'm really excited to play support characters, which I've never had before Overwatch, that like, you know, that's really interesting in terms of tactics and swapping and like having different characters with different abilities that are so completely like, it's not just a case of, oh, you've got a different gun. It's like you have a completely different role within the team. And I think that in terms of game design is something that Overwatch has done really interestingly this year.
I experimented a lot more in the early days, and now I've just got my
Yeah, you've got your...
3 to 4
There's
characters.
that thing of, who do you main as?
Who do I attack as? I don't support. I don't do much else.
Do you think somebody could come into Overwatch now, though? That's my concern with it. Like, I was thinking about recommending it to a few people for Christmas, and then I was thinking they'd come in and be just annihilated immediately.
I think you could, but you just have to do it. You know, when we went in, we didn't really do the tutorials. We just jumped straight in because everyone was on the same level. I think
I did the tutorials.
Oh,
so.
no.
And also, see, I played a bunch of AI stuff for the same reason. Like, I would join a game, get annihilated, and I thought, this is not fun.
Yeah.
And the AI is at a really weird, like, medium level difficulty is so easy. Like, you literally sit outside their spawn zone, then come out as one big group, you kill them, team kill, rinse and repeat. And hard is way, way harder. It's like there's nothing in between. And maybe that's an indication of my skill.
Yeah.
But it was just like, oh my God, hard's really hard. Medium is just super
you're
easy.
like Goldilocks, but with Overwatch.
I don't know what that means.
They're like the porridge,
What
it's too
was
hot.
Oh, right, okay.
And then
I have
the
no
bed's
idea what
too
it is.
hot.
Stretch of a reference.
It absolutely is not. It's
Well, it
Goldilocks
confused us.
with a machine gun saying, oh, the little thing is too hard, now it's just right. No?
But
no?
it wasn't just right.
Cool.
That's
You
my
have
point.
children,
Do you want me-
Alex. You should know this
I know the
reference.
story of Goldilocks. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's see, do you want me to edit that bit out of the podcast, right?
Oh, yeah, thank you so much.
worries,
Thank you so
worries.
much, Dale.
I'll get
You
on
got my
that.
back. Cheers, dude.
Probably save face a little bit. Anyway, so the overall winner was Overwatch. So that won Game of the Year. It also won Best Multiplayer Game, which obviously I completely agree with. Blizzard got Best Game Direction. I'm not really sure kind of what that means.
Isn't that the same as Game of the Year, to a degree, I guess?
I don't really know.
It's like, well done, you made the game of the year, so you have the best director.
But it's not best developer or best studio.
Yeah, so it's like saying this game was directed well, so it's basically best game director.
Well, I guess the difference between, in the Oscars, you have best director and you have best film. I guess they're looking at it down that avenue of it's not necessarily...
Yeah, I suppose.
And also, unsurprisingly, best esports game.
OVs.
Yeah, they cleaned up.
My favourite award was Trending Gamer. Boogie 2988 won that.
Boogie 2988. Oh, yeah, him.
Good old Boogie.
Yeah. He's always trending. Always gaming.
Other stuff. Doom won a couple. Best music and sound design.
Still haven't played Doom, and I've got it on my Christmas list. Someone has got their phone on.
Anyone would have noticed that.
Yeah, I've got it on my Christmas list, so I'm excited to play
Best
Doom.
action game. So that's a good start.
I'm in. I want to play it.
I'm really excited that Inside won Best Independent Game. I'm glad that Inside made it onto a list. I know you weren't a massive fan of it, Dale.
No, I just think it was cool. I enjoyed it. But a week later, I never gave it a second thought.
You forgot about it.
Whereas you were deep into the mysteries and the symbolism and etc.
I loved it.
Yes,
but...
I can tell. I just never read it like you read it. I just enjoyed the game for what it was and then sort of moved on. I didn't think the ending was that great, to be honest.
Yeah, which is absolutely fair.
I thought the ending was a big part of shit.
Big ball of shit.
But what I did like about it is that, like, the sort of like anxiety it gave you from the dogs chasing.
Yeah, that was so cool.
From such a simple setup, is that it did so much with so little compared to other games that are sort of bigger, bolder, and more extravagant. And that's what I loved about that game. That's the thing that stuck with me. But
its mechanics was so cool, and it's like its ability to teach you the game without teaching you the game as well. I thought was really good.
I really liked the procedural animation element of it.
Yes, totally.
Like it was some of the best that I've seen in a game for like something that was just a side-scrolling, keep going right until the game says stop. But the way that the boy would react to things or trip, and that procedural animation within it was just gorgeous.
The timings were incredible as well. Like there was that one bit.
Perfectly.
Absolutely, yeah. If anything, that should win game direction, probably.
Yeah.
But the bit when you've got to climb over the chain link fence and the dogs are chasing you, and you've just got to juggle that, getting one side to the other, and every time you're only seconds away from getting there. It's like,
literally, you're not sure if you're going to make it or not.
Every time, and the girl in the water as well.
The girl in the water was I had goosebumps while
terrifying.
playing, like genuinely really scary.
Yeah.
And then there was that bit where you had to get a secret and you had to like go back into the water and back at her. Oh, it was insane. We did a spoiler cast on Inside. If people are interested in delving into it more.
Alysia suggests some crazy theories.
Correct theories, I believe, is the adjective you were looking for.
Wasn't it one of them like the game was a metaphor for cancer or something?
Oh no, that wasn't my theory. That was something that I read on Reddit. But thought we were discussing theories and stuff, and someone had decided.
But you indulged the theory.
I mean, I think that, well, now we're getting into territory of is speaking aloud endorsing. I gave air to the theory, but I don't agree with it.
Get Alex face. What?
Other interesting stuff. Best performance, Nolan North for Nathan Drake in Uncharted 4. I'm not sure about
Wait,
that.
what was the award? The best performance of Nolan North?
Yeah. No,
have you met Nolan North?
No, I haven't.
Have you met Nolan North?
Yes. He's Nathan Drake. You're the best at being yourself. Great. I want to win an award for being me. I think I'd be quite good at being me.
I would play a game with you hanging off a side of a temple, leaping through the undergrowth. I think that would be amazing.
I'm very suited to that.
I can just imagine a game of you being whacked in the face by branches trying to go through.
A game where I'm just whacked in the face. That's probably like a boxing game where I'm just the punishment.
What do you think about best mobile game being Pokemon Go? Or handheld as well, mobile/handheld?
Well, I don't know where obviously Pokemon Sun and Moon fits into this. I'm guessing that the kind of award criteria, that game came out afterwards. I would assume.
I think they had a cut-off point of at least a few weeks ago.
Because it also won Best Family Game. And again, what's the definition of a family game? Is that just a game that can be enjoyed by everyone, or is it a game that can be enjoyed by families at the same time?
My critique
Maybe
is...
I'm reading way too much into this.
No, I think it's completely fair.
My critique is Pokemon Go was... it was a big thing, right? It was a big event that happened. but was the game any good? I don't know.
Oh no,
I don't know that it really was.
It absolutely wasn't. When you
But like, it's very. It doesn't happen very often when you get phenomenon.
That's the word I was looking for.
Phenomenon.
Of that scale.
Yeah.
Where literally everyone is playing it.
Well, when
and
my
seeing
mum's
people
asking me
walking
what
down the street.
Pokemon Go is,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I
But
can't even remember the last time that happened. So I think purely for that, it deserves recognition.
But I don't think that's out of the strength of the game. I think that's because mobiles as a device are completely ubiquitous. Everyone has one, and it was a free-to-play game that anyone could download. And it was based on one of the most famous gaming IPs that are full of nostalgia. And I think it was just a perfect storm of ingredients of saying, this is available for everyone, this is really famous, and everyone kind of picked up on it, and there was the media snowball around it.
And
I
it
don't
was
think it was
still
because
fun.
it was a...
It was still fun. Like,
was-
there was that, I've never played a Pokemon game before or since.
same.
And, like, I was still wanted to find, when you saw a shadow or something nearby, I wanted to find that. And I'm not saying it's doing anything revolutionary, but as a kind of a geocaching type. Like,
Right, yeah.
What was the game that Fable 2 or Fable 3? They did a game that came out. I think it was called Kingmaker or something, and it was kind of like a similar idea. But you go around and you collect gold, and then when the full game, Fable 2 or 3 came out, you could use all that gold in the game, and it was similar to that. Obviously, not to the same scale, but it was like doing something clever with a device.
Yeah.
And you're more into your mobile games than I am, so I'm sure that people have done this kind of shit already. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
But it was just like, as you say, it was a perfect storm, and it just kind of worked.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't a lot of the time.
That's the thing. I think that was my issue with it, that I loved the ideas behind it. I loved the idea of using augmented reality in a mobile game and of kind of making Pokemon come into real life, quotation marks. Like, I thought that was really cool. And I agree, when I first downloaded it, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a Weedle around the corner, run! And I was catching Ghastlies in the office and lining it up with people's heads so it looked like people had Ghastlies for skulls.
All those pictures, I've got to remember.
It was really, really fun. And I did enjoy that. And I enjoyed the fact that as, an office, we'd go out on lunch breaks and we'd go Pokemon hunting. That was really fun. But fundamentally, as a game, it was broken. It massive aspects of it, like the shadows that you mentioned were really flawed in the footprint system.
The battle system was just tap the screen.
System was terrible.
As long as you had the numbers, just tapping the screen and you can win.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably what made it appealing to such a... If it was any more complex than that, it wouldn't have had the same pickup.
I imagine the battle system, a lot of casual people probably didn't even get to that stage anyway. It was just purely catching the Pokemon. Because I didn't play many battles on it at all, really. I don't know, it's just... Like the AR mode, for example, how cool was that? Everyone had that on for about a week, and then everyone turned it off
because they
immediately.
realised that it broke the game, which a fundamental part of it, you're turning off because you realise it doesn't work as well with it, is a really big flaw.
But I must admit, I disagree. I thought, why didn't it work?
It didn't work because when you're walking around and the whole point of a game is to catch as many Pokemon as you can, and the fundamental mechanic that directs you to where those Pokemon are is broken, so essentially you're just stumbling around.
But you're talking about two things here. You're talking about actually finding one, i.e. the sort of footprint thing that says that you're...
Yeah.
I was talking about the AR part of it.
Oh, I see. Okay. No, the AR thing was broken because generally when you tried to catch the Pokemon and you were seeing it on the pavement or something, sometimes the Pokemon wouldn't be in front. It would disappear from the screen. Did you ever get that?
I didn't think it was broken. I just thought it just made the game more socially awkward for me. Like, if I wanted to play it in certain situations, I didn't want to be pointing the camera. I realised I could turn AR off and just have my phone as if normal.
And also, it screwed the battery.
Well, that's the thing. That was the other thing I was going to bring. It's a
I
massive
don't think
battery
that's...
drain.
We shouldn't criticise the game developers for trying to do something. Basically, the hardware is not there yet.
No.
And
I mean, I agree and I disagree with that. I think if it had been any other platform, mobile as a platform is probably the most brutal out of PC, console, everything, because people have no patience. There are so many thousands of games released onto the mobile app stores every day. If you have a broken game, that's normally you're dead in the water. It's got to be perfect instant load times. Niantic created this game that, you'd wait maybe 15, 20 seconds for it to load at some points just to even get into it. And I just feel like they're being protected very much by the nostalgia elements and
Well,
for the
of
fact
course.
that it's
Like, people will
Pokemon.
do it because it's
but they should be
Pokemon.
held to the same standards that we hold the rest of the mobile games development community.
But again, I think there's 2 points there. Like, who should be holding them accountable?
The players.
But like, that's their decision, though, right? Like, if it's a Pokemon, so you know that you're getting something that you're already interested in. It's going to be special because it's something that you love, or at least I was aware of. And so, I kind of gave it probably more leniency than I would a brand new game that I was coming
Absolutely,
into.
because that is the nostalgia element coming through.
And so I don't think it's double standards. I just think it's like, for me, if I was waiting for a Star Wars film versus something else, I'd probably be like, do you know what? I can wait a little bit longer if I know it's going to be what I want to watch.
Well, that's the thing. I think if they'd have waited a little bit longer before releasing it and had waited and polished it, I would have absolutely no issues with it.
But then that's probably where it is now, though, right?
I have to admit, I've not been back and played it.
I saw
played
someone
it.
playing it on the train the other day.
Did
I was
you?
like, oh my God, I've not seen that for a while.
I turned it on a few weeks ago because there was an update, and it's very much like more of a polished article now.
Exactly, yeah.
It's essentially still the same game. I just
And it's also no different from what they've done with Watch Dogs 2. They released that and the multiplayer is completely broken for over a week.
I mean,
and that is a £50 game.
every Bethesda
I'm not
game.
saying it's
That's
right,
bad.
but I'm
No,
just saying
but yeah.
it's it happens.
That's a fair point, that like Watch Dogs, you fork out £50.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go was free to play at the end of the day. Like, it cost you nothing.
You have to look at every Bethesda game that they release. It's all people, they give it a certain allowance because there's going to be bugs, it's going to be broken.
Yeah,
but
Bethesda have got a... I don't know what... Dishonored was okay, wasn't it? I've seen a
I'm
couple
just
of
more
ones.
thinking of the Skyrims and the Fallouts.
Fallouts, yeah.
So, for example, I'm playing the Skyrim remastered. The remastered, so a game that came out 5 years ago, and I still suffered a major glitch the other day where it locked me into third person, and I couldn't get out of third person mode.
Right.
Oh, really?
And then I had to do this really long-winded way of turning myself into the werewolf, turning back out, then reapply my magic shout, and then I could finally turn back out. It was crazy, and that game's 5 years old. And but I love that game so much that you just let it go. You don't worry. I made a joke out of it in the end, and I just tweeted about it instead. But
Nice.
it does happen with other games as well. It's not just
Yeah,
mobile
you're
games.
forgiving of the games that you love.
Yeah.
And, like an old friend. You pat it on the head and you forgive it.
And forget it.
And forget it immediately, never play it again.
The other kind of winner, I guess, for most anticipated game, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. And they showed, they showed a new teaser, and then the most awkward Let's Play between two middle-aged men. I was like, "What are you doing?"
Playing on the Nintendo Switch, which was...
No, they weren't.
No,
I thought they
it was
were.
a Wii game.
It was
They
a
not?
Wii U.
Oh,
Wii gamepad,
damn it. I thought there was a Switch.
No.
I did not watch that properly.
No, he didn't miss much.
It was 4 minutes of the most awkward kind of banter between two of the Nintendo Treehouse people.
I've spoke about this before, and I got some stick when I said it about it. But did you think it was with Zelda? They say these things, and they're like, "Oh, on this one, now Link can eat some food and he recovers his health." And I was like, "Brilliant! Every other game's been doing that for 10 years." But for some reason, it's Zelda, people hype it up.
I think going back to the point on Pokemon is that people have got such a
attachment to the franchise.
Exactly,
yeah.
and I'm the same. And I must admit, like, I'm starting to get a little bit like, right, I want something fresh from Zelda.
Yeah.
Because I still think, from Wind Waker and what's the really famous one? That I've
Ocarina
forgotten?
of Time?
Thank you very much. I forgot what it was called. That was the highlight and the peak, although Majora's Mask is exceptional as well. And I don't think it's quite touched that since. So I'm hoping for special things on this. But I know, like, even at E3 when they were kind of talking to us and it's like, oh, you can do this. It's like, wow, I've been doing that in every game.
You can chop grass.
You can eat a carrot.
There's lots of nice food in his backpack.
That Let's Play was such a weird idea. Like, why did they do that? I thought they would have been better off just showing some new gameplay.
So, for anyone who's not seen it, the general idea of the gameplay that we saw was a quest where you get off a minstrel that you're going to find a shrine.
I'll be honest, I came away from it going like, I don't really see what the point of that video was,
Yeah.
or it wasn't a complete mission.
I
It showed you getting to the start of a mission. It
it was all jump cuts,
Right.
though.
It was
and that
massively
was the other
jump
thing.
cut.
There was no
Pulling
fluidity
out.
to it, and it
Yeah.
was like, I'm just about to take on this, but I've just forgotten about that person. I've moved on
It's
to
like
a
they were
different
cutting it for like how you cut a comedy Let's Play, like the bits where the people are playing it say funny things.
Yeah.
They're cutting around that, but they're revealing the gameplay, like show the game.
I
That's
think,
what people want to see.
obviously what they've done, they had a a 4-minute segment or whatever. Was that even shown within the Game Awards? I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm
I'd
assuming
watched
that they had a
repeat.
4-minute segment.
Yeah.
Because this is what happens, like speaking to
Show
lots of developers
a
at
4-minute
E3, they start off like saying, oh, you've got 15 minutes to show your game, which
Yeah.
gets cut to 10, which gets cut to 5. You go, oh, you got a minute to show your game. It's like,
Yeah, to brutally cut it.
Just show a boss battle or something.
Yeah,
I
I
just think it could have been a lot more interesting.
We did
Yeah.
see some of the combat for the first time. There was like a parry system, so when you parry an enemy's attack, you can then rush forward in a flurry. And
Yeah.
he did a couple of those.
flurry rush, which I
A flurry rush, is that what it's called? A flurry.
Diarrhea shit.
I was going to say
Well,
it sounded
that
like some sort of McDonald's ice cream.
Well, that
thing.
just
And now
illustrates
combining the two.
different approaches to life.
Two approaches.
Do you know what other game had a flurry rush?
What?
Mass Effect. Did you notice that? They had like the warp mode from Final Fantasy 15.
Ah.
Did you watch the Mass Effect game?
I did watch it, yeah.
So then, when it was mid-battle, there was bits where you were using your jetpack and you were like warping to the enemies.
Right.
Did you not see that? They used it quite a lot.
Oh,
Which was
actually,
new to the series.
Having not played a Mass Effect game, couldn't have told you if that's new, old, or.
Yeah.
or
So they're
whatever.
very much third-person action. I think Gears sort of style, hiding behind cover, running
Yeah.
to cover and stuff.
Yeah.
So now that was like a real new. There's a lot more mobility in the game, and it seems really interesting to me. But it just looks so much like the warping from Final Fantasy 15.
There was a lot, having watched that Mass Effect Andromeda gameplay, there was a lot that I felt they riffed off of established sci-fi games.
Yeah.
Like even just, when you're, there's a bit where she's in this massive vehicle and she's going around the planet. And there was a real Destiny element to that. Like I felt like in the same way that when you're riding your Sparrow and going through kind of all the different foliage and, there was a bit where she's scanning a room and it was almost exactly like the same, when Ghost scans and the little lasers come
Yeah.
out and he goes it was exactly like that. So there was some, I guess, pulls or influences from games that we've already played, but I like the idea of being the pathfinder of the fact that the whole point of the game is finding a new home for humanity and you're exploring the galaxy, looking for a place to
I
establish.
always feel like
home.
Mass Effect doesn't really trailer well or show well because there's a lot of complex things going on. Like the last trailer, when they released that trailer, I was like, that was cool. Don't know what the hell happened in that trailer at all. But I always find, I've played with the games and every time I get into the game, I really get invested in them and I'm a big sci-fi fan, but I just don't think maybe they trailer well.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's tough. Like they tried to show as well, obviously massive part of any of these games is the dialogue mechanics and the option system. So we got a glimpse of that, of you walking in and there's a woman and you but the thing is, when this woman asked you a question, obviously the 4 options came up and they just immediately kind of chose an option, so you couldn't even read what options were. I was like,
But you could see it was
it's like a trailer.
a Renegade option though, wasn't it? I think. So you
That
choose
she
like
went for.
Paragon or Renegade options and they're like red and blue, so it's very cut and dry.
I thought the voice acting in that bit was terrible.
Can't say I noticed it, to be honest.
Of whoever's the sort of the person
Pathfinder.
you're confronting,
Oh, right.
and I think the English actress.
Right.
Well, she sounded British anyway. I thought it sounded dreadful. Go back and watch it.
I will.
I was
I'll
like,
check this out.
Oh, it just sounds so stilted. Like, I don't know if they had the scene in front of them when they were delivering the dialogue, or it was just they were delivering the dialogue in a black room. But I was just like, it just doesn't match up. And that to me is why, obviously when Nolan North is doing Nathan Drake, it works because he's living and breathing that character. I'm not saying that he's actually climbing a temple while he's doing it,
Well,
but it feels...
They go pretty close when you see them actually on the green screen in their costumes and stuff. They are...
It just felt flat, which, as someone who doesn't play Mass Effect games, I thought, I thought it looked beautiful.
Yes,
And in
absolutely.
4K, it's going to look absolutely, staggering.
I've just bought a 4K TV and oh my
you
God,
have.
it's going to be amazing.
But I saw nothing there that made me think, I'll give that a go. And that's probably fine because I'm sure I'd play it for an hour. Like, I hated Skyrim. So I probably shouldn't play that game.
Fair enough. Everyone's entitled to opinion. I love Skyrim, and
You're
I'm
entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to the right opinion. So
what? I'm back in Skyrim. Like I dabbled into it, and then now I'm probably about 20-30 hours back in again.
You've got way too much time on your hands.
No, I haven't. I just don't sleep much, and my girlfriend doesn't get to see me much. That's basically how it works. Just
Why
focus.
did you buy a house together?
It's a grown-up thing to do. I needed someone to store my games.
What else was shown? So they gave a glimpse of the new Telltale Guardians of the Galaxy. Literally a glimpse of a floating Walkman.
It was a cool opening
space.
with the Star Wars-esque Star Destroyer, but it was a tape cassette
Yeah,
instead.
that was really cool. What song were they playing?
It was
Dancing in the Moonlight.
Dancing in the Moonlight, but not the top loader one, the original.
Nice.
Top loader.
So do I. Let's bond over hatred of top loader.
I have no opinion on Top Loader.
Do you know who top loader are?
Do they sing Dancing in the Moonlight?
They did.
Speak up, by the way.
It was a kind of around. They were around the same time when Chris Evans launched TFI, and they were on TFI a lot because he really liked them. And there was just I literally couldn't tell you another top loader song they've done there.
They had Achilles Heel, that was before Dancing in the Moonlight, and then after that, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
How does Achilles Heel go? Come on, Dale. Give us a little blast.
Wait. I can't remember, to be honest. Do re mi fa
I
sol
thought we
la
were
ti
going to
do.
get a proper performance. Then.
I can't remember, to be honest. I just remember it was called Achilles Heel. Anyway.
You've played quite a lot of the Batman Telltale stuff.
Yeah, I've played all.
Have you, Alysia?
I've played all of the Walking Dead and Game of Thrones Telltale series and part of the Minecraft series, but I've not played the Batman one.
I've played all 3 episodes that are available, and the 4th one comes out in a couple of weeks or a week or so. So as soon as that comes out, I'll play that as well.
Did you play any of the Borderlands stuff?
I played the first 2 episodes on that.
Yeah.
On the back of recommendations, and I posted on Twitter that I didn't think much of the first episode, and I got loads of shit for it.
Joe
I
loves
thought,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably the most popular Telltale
I don't
series.
get why, to be honest. And I very much got a love-hate with Telltale. I thought The Wolf Among Us was fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that one. But
I bought that and I didn't even finish the first episode. I just didn't connect with it.
Oh, well, yeah, I suppose if you don't connect, I'm the same. I could say you should totally play it, but some people said that to me about Tales from Borderland, and I had no drive. I did finish the second episode, and then another game came out. And I was like,
drive. That is a
bad
thing.
It took my soul, that's my spirit, and it took it away from me, and I just didn't connect with the game, so I just abandoned it really. But the Batman, I'm really enjoying it. It's I thought the first episode was really, really strong, and then since then it's kind of it's not doing anything new every episode. It's kind of the same thing every episode, which is a bit disappointing.
I find that with and again, this is me being quite ignorant, but I'm cool with that. I think Telltale games as a whole just feel quite samey.
Yeah, I would completely agree with you.
And I wonder, how long can they keep doing this?
As long as they keep making money, I guess.
Yeah. Who's buying it?
This guy.
You got Batman for free.
I did get Batman for free.
Well,
But the thing is, they always tease new features, and Batman does have new features, and then they put those features in, and then they never expand upon them.
Right.
Like they had this new detective mode where you're in a room and you've got all these objects, and you have to work out what happened. So you have to say, okay, well that bullet obviously came from this hole over here. Trace, and you link them all together.
Yeah.
Really cool idea, but every episode it's pretty simple and the same.
Right.
They don't expand upon it. And that part of it's a little bit
that's a
disappointing.
little bit like I would say the Rocksteady games though.
It's very much like that.
Like the detective mode was always underused. I feel I'd love to have seen it, or see them go a little bit further with that stuff.
Yeah, I think it's quite cool in VR. Batman
Considering he's
VR.
supposed to be the world's greatest detective, he's doing pretty basic stuff that I could probably do.
Yeah, wait. If you think it's basic in the Rocksteady games, it's really basic in Telltale.
Right, okay.
It's like almost offensively basic. Like it's just, well, this guy's got poison around his mouth. Wonder what happened. Oh, there's a poison vat over here. Wait a second, and that's basically what it is.
Right.
So it feels like kind of superfluous, really. But
yeah, you would have thought for a game like that has the ability to kind of pace itself a bit better, take its time, that you could elaborate on that stuff a little bit more, rather than like Rocksteady's game. People basically tune into that to fly around and be badass Batman punching the crap out of people. Whereas that's, I would say, aimed a little bit more at people who want to kind of experiment.
Well, the good thing though about this one is, so on Telltale games, obviously you get to take your characters on a path, you get to choose what side they are. But because Batman's such a familiar character, I started the game thinking I'm going to make Batman the biggest asshole I can make him.
Surely.
And that part of it's really fun, like just making Batman a badass.
You can do that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's at the end of the first episode, I won't spoil it, but there's a decision you make where you can be pretty brutal, and I immediately made that decision. Then Alfred's castrated me for being brutal, and then I just tell him to shut up and stuff.
Right.
Did you say Alfred castrated you?
Not legit.
Have you not read that one in the
Not literally, figuratively.
That issue.
He turns you out, basically. He has a go. He's always moaning, always nagging. Alfred.
Master Bruce.
Yeah. He's always having a nag, but I just always tell him to know his place, basically. Right. And that part of it's fun. It's getting to have a different experience of Batman.
Sure.
But what they're going to do with Guardians of the Galaxy, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Is that just going to be a spin-off story, I guess? One would imagine.
Well, like, obviously, they've got all the comics to kind of base their stuff on.
Yeah.
I know nothing about that franchise outside of the film, so
Same, yeah. So I imagine it'll
hope they
be
do something new,
similar to The Walking Dead, maybe, where they just they take that world and the lore of that world, but then they just build new story around it. Maybe, I don't know.
I'm not super stoked for it, I have to say. Like, we'll see what they do, but
very hard to kind of base it on that trailer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, but I'm the same. Like, unless
I mean,
Telltale do something,
even if it was
dramatically different.
the most amazing trailer
Yeah.
ever, like I think it would have to be something super special to get me excited about a Telltale game.
Did you watch the Walking Dead season 3 trailer thingy?
No, didn't actually.
I'm pretty sure that was at the Games Awards as well, but I watched it this morning.
Okay.
So if you're not, it was launched last night.
I did see something on IGN, a very popular website about video
I've heard of
games.
this. Tell me more.
What does it stand for?
It's Imagine Games Network is what it
I
stands for.
did know that. Not Intergalactic Gnome Network.
Yeah. What?
Intergalactic Gnome Network.
It's just
Well,
short.
that'd be INN. No, IKN.
What? You don't spell gnome with a K?
Wait,
Intergalactic Gnome
Gnome.
Network.
Gnome, like garden gnome.
Yes.
With a K. Yeah.
No, it's
No!
not.
What?
Dale!
It's with a G.
It's with a G.
Oh shit! It is as well, is it?
Definitely don't cut that bit out.
Chalk that up for a stupid moment. Even that though, you were the one who got the acronym wrong to begin with. Oh
No,
wait,
I got the acronym
you
exactly right. Dale,
Right,
stop
I've had a
talking.
mare. I've had a mare. Let's just move on.
Have you got gnomes in your garden? Did you spell garden with a K?
I don't know what happened there.
Garden.
I think I was thinking of knobs.
You're going to go home
Of course you
tonight.
were. I'm sure you were.
Always thinking of knobs. Always on.
Dreamily staring into the distance.
Do you eat kanocchi for dinner?
I'm really embarrassed now.
You should
I'm
be.
going to cut this out.
No,
No, you are
way.
not. You
No way.
absolutely are
Listeners, if Dale cuts this out, I'm going to mention it every probably 2 minutes for the rest of the podcast.
They're not going to hear what you're saying now, though, because
Well,
I'm going to cut
in
that out.
that
That's
case, the podcast would just finish. Because I'm going to talk about it every 2 minutes.
Okay. I won't cut it out. I won't cut it out.
Right, good. I guess, moving forwards by a year, I think for the award for most ridiculous trailer must go to Death Stranding.
Yeah.
What the hell was going on in that trailer?
I bloody loved that we don't know what was going on.
Oh,
I-
of course you loved it.
I
I knew straight away that you
So,
loved it.
okay. I'm with Alysia. I loved it.
Yeah, you loved it.
Yes.
Did you not think it was just bonkers for the
Do you
sake
know
of
what?
bonkers?
Like, Kojima could curl off one on a little plate and I'd go, that's amazing.
Hey, I'm a massive fan. I'm a massive fan of Kojima, but what is the game?
I don't know.
That's the point. That's the point. We don't know what the game is.
Still, I bet you that's 3-4 years away.
I
It's
hate
like-
that Del Toro's in it.
Why?
Really?
Why is he in it?
Why not? Why not?
Be involved in the
not?
game, sure, but why is
got-
he acting in it?
Looks like
Why is
he's
he
had his
performing in
head
it?
chopped off or something.
Why is he performing in it? Why is he a character?
I don't,
Does it matter?
Yeah. I don't know. It just
If I was
irritated me.
Kojima, I'd just get all of my
All my
famous
mates
mates.
in.
Come on, let's do
But I
this.
wasn't watching like a game and like sort of dispelling disbelief. I was watching. Oh look, there's Del Toro. It's just. I suppose you could say the same about Mads Mikkelsen, but he's traditionally an actor anyway. So.
But it didn't feel out of place.
yeah, I agree.
It just did to me. Something about it was just really weird.
I think take it, to not look at it as, it was something, I tweeted about this morning, that I really like the fact that it's a trailer that doesn't spoon feed us exactly what to expect in a game. I feel like most game trailers will kind of spoon feed every element, whether it's, this is exactly the gameplay mechanics, this is what you're going to get from the story, and that's what a lot of the trailers
I'm
that we saw
sure
last
that
night.
will come. But right
And that
now,
will come.
I want that.
But
element
right
of
now,
mystery.
it's basically a concept piece. It's kind of, Gav is with you. Gav does
Yes.
not like it.
We had a good chat about it.
He called it a high-budget student film, or something along those
Did you
lines.
see what he tweeted?
No,
So, have you ever watched Spaced?
no.
Have you ever watched Spaced?
No.
No, this is good.
I can't wait for the reference.
So there's a bit in Space where David Williams is in space and he plays this character who's an artist, and he's got this stage performance which is him like screaming random notes, and the guy who played Dennis Pennis, can't remember his name.
Yep.
He's running around with a vacuum cleaner, going "Ugh," like swinging a vacuum cleaner around, and then he just ends and then he just stops, and then the audience don't know what to make of it, and that's basically what this was. It was just like
No,
pretending to be art.
Honestly.
That's really flippant as a reference. 'cause
That's
there's-
Dale.
Well, and Gav.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, what does that tell me? What did that trailer tell me?
But
It's not supposed to tell you
it's not
anything.
meant
It's
to.
just supposed
Well, it's
to
a trailer.
interest you.
It's a kind of, it's like a mood
wanna see
board
more.
of like what to expect.
I suppose on that element, it's teasing you what, this is what we've got. Like, do you want to find out more about it?
Yes, I absolutely do.
From that element, I do,
you
yeah.
go.
So I guess it worked.
Done.
Whoa, Jesus. Audio spiked big time.
I just want to make your life difficult editing this podcast this afternoon.
Oh, God, as if it isn't difficult enough.
Well, everyone's getting ready for the Christmas party.
Yeah, and I've still got 2 videos to finish.
Dale.
I just
well.
thought, like, I thought it looked like a Metal Gear game, parts of it.
Yeah.
What bits
See
look
that.
like
I see
Metal
one
Gear?
with the tanks.
With all the,
and
like, it's just like, it's blending kind of reality with supernatural. And like the bit where Mads Mikkelsen comes down
really hard
felt
to
a little
say.
bit like what they called in 5.
The skulls?
Skulls.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Like a little bit like that. So supernatural soldiers. I can totally see it.
I did like the thing that he had those sort of what would you call them?
Tentacles.
Tentacles that connected to his
like
his
an umbilical cord connecting everybody.
Yeah.
But they're connected to like his
a hive
unit.
mind.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Also, like when the planes were flying over, they had like
Yeah,
streams.
little
but so,
strands.
what
I
is
didn't
going
notice
on
that.
there?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's true.
But
There
then
was-
also he was connected to the baby as well, wasn't he, Del
Yeah.
Toro?
Yeah.
Like because their eyes moved at the same time and stuff.
But
So
like, there's so much going on there that made me think, well, what is happening in
It's-
this world?
it's like-
all of the black stuff going down the walls, the water rising, like what the hell is going on? And I like
And
that.
did you notice the baby doll that comes and floats
Yep.
down? And
Is it a doll, though?
Mikkelsen's. Well, we don't know.
I
That's
get
the
the
thing.
feeling that's not a
It
doll,
might not
that's the
be,
thing.
but like it had its stomach was cut in the same cross. In the first trailer, we saw
Norman Reedus?
Norman Reedus. He had like a cross-shaped scar
Yeah, right.
on his stomach, and that baby had exactly the same scar mark. But
I think
it's a
the
doll. Like,
implication
so-
is that there's some sort of like that's reproduction is like I don't know, you're creating a new version of yourself, harboring a
like you
child
could take
in a
it. But that's the
test
thing. We
tube.
don't know whether to take it metaphorically or
Yeah.
literally. Is it a literal version of reproduction in this dystopian, futuristic reality, or is it also a metaphor for something to do with connection and connectivity? And like, we've absolutely no idea. And I really like that.
But that is the thing with Kojima, though. I think he has these highbrow concepts and ideas, like you were just explaining then. I think a lot of the time they don't really work.
yeah.
But I still love it
Yes,
all the same. It's
absolutely.
like, like all of the trailers for Metal Gear were like, what the hell is going on here with like, kind of Snake with covered in blood and like obviously you see it in
and a
the game.
horse on fire. running
So
past
much
and
weird
like
stuff.
that,
Like the opening of Metal Gear 5. What
It's
was all that
absolutely
about?
mental.
Is batshit.
And I still don't know what that was all about. And then it just turns into a kind of
But I
like
think-
regular action game.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what's going to be the case here.
But I think that's why it's such a breath of fresh air to have. I think the reason why we're talking about this all is because as an industry, we do tend to know what everything's about in the games when we go into them. And, the whole point as an industry is us like identifying games and every different aspect of it and talking about it, and you have a real certainty about what it is that you're playing.
Yeah.
And Kojima is like the only person who kind of goes,
that's it.
just flips the table.
There are
and
so few people in that position that they have the flexibility and
To be able to
freedom
do that.
be able to do that. And the game will still sell.
If the Stranding trailer came out and it wasn't attached to Kojima, what would you think of it then?
I'd still be intrigued. I absolutely would still be
I
intrigued.
wouldn't be as intrigued.
No.
But,
You
in
think,
Ko-
what's
in
this weird
Kojima,
shit?
I believe.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Fair
No,
enough.
I-
I believe in the man as well, and I'm sure the final game will be something of his standard.
Yeah, 'cause
But
also, like,
the trailer was
mechanically-
crazy.
Yeah, mechanically,
Absolutely.
he does really strong games.
Yeah. Wow, Metal Gear 4 was a bit crap.
Do you know, I only played it once.
It's crap.
There's a whole lot
Yeah.
of cutscenes in that game.
5 was awesome though.
My one worry with the game is something that someone pointed out to me on Twitter this morning, and I think it's a really fair point, that at the end of the day, we are probably 4 years, like an entire US presidential term away from seeing
Absolutely.
this game in real life.
Especially when he's not on someone else's clock.
Yeah.
He's going
but-
to take his sweet
exactly.
time with this game.
And he only really just decided the engine that he was building his game on. For the last year, we've been reporting that he's been just trying to get into production for it. This is literally the beginning. And so much can change. So much. We've already had 2 trailers.
I was going to say, is it a bit early for this second trailer?
It's quite early. So I don't want the hype train to... We've seen so many games fall foul of internet hype recently, and I'm slightly worried that Death Stranding could go down that route.
I think he knows what he's doing. I think part of it is maybe it's pressure from Sony. I don't know, because I'm sure they've thrown a shit ton of money at it.
There is that, I suppose.
And this may even be a PS5 launch game.
Yeah.
Or PS whatever it might be. If you're talking about that kind of time frame.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the sort of facial rendering was just out of this
Mads
world.
Mikkelsen looked incredible.
Mads Mikkelsen just looked exactly like Mads Mikkelsen, which was
Although,
glorious.
as Gav pointed out, he looked exactly like Mads Mikkelsen in Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
Which he kind of did, to be fair.
Is that a bad thing?
Well, no, but the same makeup and
Actually,
everything.
I've not seen Doctor Strange.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like with the kind of
With
black
the-
stuff.
the
on his eyes and
glittery
stuff.
eyeshadow.
Yeah. And imagine if that ended up running in engine on PS5. If that what PS5 games look like.
That'd be amazing. What is that noise?
I think that's someone digging a hole outside.
They can't hear that at home. Oh, well, we've acknowledged it now. Oh, it's gone.
Now it stops.
It's gone.
Hey.
Right.
I think it was Kojima. He's trying to get his brain.
Yeah, drilling through.
I think that's it for the Game Boards.
Yep.
If you saw it, do let us know what your favourite kind of trailers were. What's the email address, Alysia?
It is IGN _UK. Is that right?
IGN_UK
UK feedback
IGN.com?
at IGN.com. You
Not
totally knew.
I
And
know
you
I
were
did.
just testing me.
Yes,
Last week she said asifdavis.com, which is technically right.
that is.
I mean, if you did that, the email would totally come through. I'm just, I'm keeping our listeners open,
Why don't
giving
we
them
change it?
options.
Yeah.
Because I think
Nah.
any kind of variant of all of the different Ziff Davis brands would work. So you could do
At
IGN
askmen.com.
_UK feedback at askmen.com.
You could actually do that.
Or I'm trying to think of other Ziff Davis brands.
PC Mag.
Because the audience, they're all on the top of the
Yes.
the Ziff Davis brands.
So we've got time for a couple of quick pieces of feedback.
They are not numbered.
They are not numbered. Sorry,
So?
I didn't have time, and I didn't highlight them either.
No
so-
time for numbers.
Sorry.
So shall I go?
Yeah.
I'll go first. Okay. This is from Jonathan Friend. Hi guys. First off, I've got a suggestion for the name of the podcast. Love Bites. With bites spelt like megabytes. Bites.
I'm not doing anything on a podcast called that.
Fair enough.
Not unless I was 14.
Anyway, regarding last week's discussion regarding remasters and remakes, I think that they're a great thing, and my two favourite games growing up were Grim Fandango and Half-Life. So yeah, I think remasters can be great when they're done for the right reasons.
Yes.
Sorry, he did divulge on Grim Fandango and Half-Life, but
Yeah.
for the sake of brevity, I'm just going to go on there. But what remastered games do you think were not needed to be made?
Wish somebody had given me some time to prep and answer.
Yeah. Try and
Why,
think of all
why
the
don't we
remasters off the top of my head.
remaster this question in next week's podcast?
I'm sure there's ones on
There
the tip
must-
of our tongue. I just,
a
we
sec. I'm
probably
gonna
should have prepped
Google-
for these, shouldn't
I'm
we?
going
I
to
do, like-
Google remastered games.
Wait, what? They want your opinion.
No, just so I can remember which ones have been remastered and then therefore which were terrible.
Things like...
What about Batman? They recently, didn't they? They returned to Arkham.
Yeah, wasn't that just a collection though? Or were they actually...
Yeah, maybe they were. I think they were upscaled.
No,
though.
they were.
Right.
That was like an upscale.
Yeah, it just felt like that. Anything that feels like it's only been a couple of years since that game's been
Yeah.
out, it feels
I
like
think
silly.
some of the stuff that appeared on last gen systems, no, even before that. So Shadow of the Colossus and Trico
Yeah.
HD, they weren't very good.
Yeah.
For two reasons. Firstly, they didn't do a proper job of the remastering. It was basically they upscaled the resolution, but they didn't do anything with the textures.
Right,
So
I
it still
guess
looked
looks
rubbish.
really flat. Yeah.
And then also mechanically, those games were of their time. And I love Shadow of the Colossus. And then I did the first kind of beast in the remake. And
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to leave that back where it was.
Yeah. Was it really clunky to control?
Yeah.
See, I'd never played those games, but I got the impression.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got like the Resident Evil remake, where over time they've adapted the controls to
Yeah,
make
yeah.
it more. It still is not perfect, but it's
It's damn sight. But like, I tried
yeah.
to play the H because it was on PS Plus. So I tried to play it with the original controls, and it's so hard.
Yeah.
Like half of the game there is not like struggling with ammo or anything like that. It's actually just trying to turn your character to point and face in the right direction.
But when I remember originally playing, I played that game a lot back in the day, and it was never felt like an issue. But now we're so acclimatized to the control methods of this day and age that going back's really hard.
Yeah.
Same with Bioshock actually. When we played, so I was on board for them being remastered, but then I look at like Bioshock Infinite, and I get it, they wanted to do it as a collection, but Infinite was only a few, like, what was it, 3 or 4 years ago? Something like that. And that was it felt like an unnecessary remaster.
Don't need it.
No.
It's basically designed for people who have not played those games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
which is when you don't necessarily have backwards compatibility, bringing it into the next console generation is fair.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Jonathan Friend. That wasn't the greatest answer, but it was something, I suppose.
Yeah.
Kath Holmes has written in saying she listens to our show when she goes to the gym, but there are some risks involved, almost falling off the equipment from laughing. Particularly on Gav's podcast, as his dark humour is epic. Anyway, what do you guys listen to when you need to motivate yourself? Is it music, a podcast, video game soundtracks?
Music. I always used to, when I was
Is there a
editing.
particular song?
I used to listen to a lot of Sigur Rós when I was editing because it's very backgroundy and not distracting.
Right.
And so I could do work, I could do editing or graphics or whatever I'm doing and have this nice like relaxing music on in the background. That's very much put me in the mood for certain things, certain styles. That's the only thing I can think of.
Really?
Yeah. What about yourself?
Lately, quite a lot of hip hop.
Really?
Yes.
Didn't have you down as a hip hop head?
I do like hip hop. After I watched Straight Outta Compton,
That's a great film.
it's a great film,
Yeah.
but it's a great album as well.
Yeah.
Like, listening to that, that was my track that I'd listen to going from out the station to the office every day. It's like, right,
To motivate you for what?
just the battle of getting into the
Yeah,
office and
the commute.
and fighting you lot when I got in.
Mine's like a constant, ever-changing list of Spotify songs that I listen to death and then move on like termites burrowing through the
That's
streaming
part of my
service.
issue is that I've not bought any new music
Yeah.
for such a long time, and I could just use Spotify.
That's part of
but I just
getting
end
older,
up
isn't
listening
it?
to the same
Same thing.
stuff.
Yeah.
Also, because there's
I
not
do
that
that.
much room on my phone.
See, Spotify has
forget
been
to-
amazing for that, of just having like, and you just have the favourite system and go straight through. There is one song that I always go back to. If I listen to Kim Churchill, Window to the Sky, it's like this really beautiful acoustic song and you cannot not listen to it and smile. And so many times I've been like, I remember once I thought I was completely alone on this train and I was listening to it and I looked around and there was definitely no one in the carriage. I was like, great. So I like properly belted out like Window to the
my
Sky.
God.
No, I'm talking like belted, like louder than you would sing in the shower. Because when you sing in the shower, there could still people be in the house. There could still be like someone listening. So you're like still a little bit quiet. Belted it out. Got into
Were you drunk?
Southampton. No, completely sober, going to visit my friend in Southampton. And like got up at like Southampton to get off. I was just like, oh yeah, this is great. And this man was just at the other end of the carriage, basically pressed into the wall. Like, who is this man?
So you had your headphones on while you're singing as well. So
Yeah,
that makes you
absolutely.
even louder.
Absolutely. But I mean, it's such a great song. I feel like it was completely valid.
That'd be embarrassing.
And then security dragged me off the platform.
Oh, nice.
One last piece of feedback.
This is from Joshua Pigott Smith, who says, "Hi guys, long-time listener and love the show. I'd love to hear your opinion on the most annoying, predictable plot tropes in film and TV. My least favourite, and now every time I see it, it drives me crazy, is the classic plucky detective who has an idea of a suspect. So instead of filling out all the relevant paperwork, assembling a team, and even texting their significant other to say they'll be late for dinner, they stroll headfirst into the killer's house, armed with nothing, and basically say, 'I know you're the bad guy,' then 10 seconds later, they're dead. So what are your most hated tropes?"
I wish we'd had time to prepare.
can see,
Something
we are
about TV
evident
shows
professionals.
that annoys me, it's not necessarily a plot trope, is when characters say other characters' names always. Like Lost, I love Lost, but they used to do it all the time. They'd be like, "Jack, what are you doing?" "Oh, nothing, Kate. Don't worry about it." "Okay, Jack."
What do you mean, Dale?
Exactly that. But it'd really annoy me after a while. It's like no one talks like that in real life. You don't constantly
Yeah.
say people's
Yeah,
names.
people's names.
And that has always bugged me in TV shows.
Oh, I've never noticed that. I'm going to look
You're
out
gonna
for that
notice it
now.
now.
And now I'm going to realise all the time.
I'm trying to think of any, like, in the shows that I'm watching right now. So Westworld, I can't think of any.
The problem with that show is there are no likeable characters.
Well, we'll get onto that on another podcast.
There's, I know it's a ridiculous thing to say, but for me, there's a part of it that I just don't believe. Like, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But again, we'll talk about that at a different time. Walking Dead, it's just got so boring.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The last episode, the biggest trait is like, make 45 minutes interesting. Don't make it a chore to get through. Have you seen the latest episode?
No, I mean, I watched the first
It's
episode
time to
of this
pull the plug
series.
on Walking Dead. I did it about a season and a half ago and I feel so much better for it.
Right. Well,
Just give in.
I kind of want to see where it's going, but after the most recent episodes, I'm like,
It's going nowhere. It's just going to tread water as long as it can. That's the problem.
it's really. Have you watched any of this season?
I watched the first episode, but I've not watched since.
Right. It's just weird because then the second episode is not related to
Oh
that.
wait, no, I did. I watched the second
the dude
episode with the tiger. Yeah,
That's not even
when I
been
stopped.
referenced since.
That's when I
It's
stopped.
like, okay, right.
So I mean, admittedly, that is taken from the comics. I think that's been like.
But like, it's all over the place.
No,
It
absolutely.
literally is all over the place.
I mean,
So that's my biggest
that's less
pet hate about
a trope,
I
but
know, it's
more
just
of an
bad-
issue
bad
with
television making.
with writing.
Yes. No.
I completely agree with the point that Josh has raised, though. There are so many times when I watch a movie or a TV series where someone goes rogue and kind of says, I'm going to take down this person. It's like, tell someone.
Yeah.
You've just uncovered this massive twist. And then the rest of the series or the film is about trying to prove that this person's the bad guy. And like other people uncover it, and it's like, well, we established this in the first episode. This could have been solved so quickly if you'd have just told your boss that you found the killer.
Yeah.
But no, you had to be a maverick.
Fair point, Josh.
Yes, I think that's it for this week's podcast. Please do keep your emails coming into. What's the email address, Dale? Without looking.
IGN_UK feedback at IGN.com.
Askmen.com, yes.
Askmen.com, yes.
Thanks, and we will be back same time next week. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.